All right, we're going to visit today about the 8 and 8 system, and we're actually gonna read together because it's so short. We're going to read what the 8 and 8 system is. So, Stephanie, you want to read first for us here?
Or where do you want me to read?
Can you see what I put up?
Oh yeah, I can.
Okay, read that page.
Okay. To set up and run an 8 and 8 program, number one, simply create 6 items, a combination of art and science to send once a week. Two, your seventh week you will be a phone call?
Will be.
Oh, will be a phone call. And your 8 week will be a face-to-face meeting, lunch, breakfast, or coffee. Three, if you're doing an 8 and 8 with a large database, stagger your mailing so you start about 5 new people each week. That way, on the seventh week, you only have to call 5 people, and on the 8 week, you only have to meet with 5. Can you imagine running through all 200 people in your database at the same time? Yikes.
All right, Joe. No, finish that up. On the or
On the week 8, you'd have to have 200 lunches. 100 lunches. It's a
yeah,
lot.
yeah. So their advice is to do 5 a week on 8 and 8. 6 postcards, then a phone call, then a face-to-face. If they own a house, that face-to-face could easily be and should be a real estate review. Who thinks that 5 meetings in a week is too much? No?
I think it depends what type of meetings they are.
Coffee, lunch, or real estate review. Yeah, or Zoom these days.
Yeah.
All right. Go for it, Jeff. Read to us.
How do you generate business? How do you generate a continuous flow of customers coming to you? Is this one of your challenges? The key to solving.
I'm thinking I went the wrong way. Hang on. I'm sorry. There we go. I had it at the end instead of the beginning. Start over.
The power of 8 and 8. To demonstrate the power of flow, the Hobbs Herder marketing firm did a research study on a neighborhood in Southern California. They surveyed homeowners by phone and asked one question: if you were to sell your home, what realtor would you call? They then recorded the responses and rank ordered the realtors based on this top of mind awareness. Next, they began mailing into this neighborhood one piece of mail each week for 8 weeks, the 8 and 8, to the residents of this neighborhood. The mail was something that would be perceived as valuable by the homeowners and was sent from a fictitious realtor. This realtor did not exist. Hobbs Herder created the face, the name, and the company. After the 8 weeks of mailings, Hobbs Herder conducted the same phone survey a second time, asking the same question. Now, which realtor do you think was the most mentioned? It was the fictitious realtor. The top-ranked realtor from the first survey was sometimes still mentioned, but the most mentioned realtor was the made-up one. This study demonstrates once again the power of flow.
So to reiterate here, a marketing company decided to make up a realtor that was fake. They sent 8 postcards in 8 weeks. They made the calls to those folks that got the card. And they said, who's your realtor of choice? And they said the fake one. They'd never even met because he didn't exist. So that's pretty powerful information. Joe, go on there from us.
All right. Sorry, we're on the after hearing about the 8 and 8 study.
Yeah.
After hearing about the 8 and 8 study, I was eager to try it out. About a week later, I was at a Chamber of Commerce breakfast where I met a young man named Greg. We were seated at the same round table, and I introduced myself by asking Greg the forward questions. I discovered Greg was new in town, having moved here from California. He was married with 2 young boys, one of whom was 10 years old, same age as our son, and a soccer player, same as our son. Since we had this in common, we talked about the boys and soccer for a bit. I asked him if he had purchased a home yet. He said they had bought a home in Village West, a great family neighborhood with a community pool. I asked if he had used a realtor. He said he did, mention the realtor's name and company, and proceeded to give a glowing testimonial of her service. I recognized the name but did not know the realtor very well. When I asked what brought you to Fort Collins, Greg replied, "My company brought me here to build this division." We talked for a while about his company and his work, and then the meeting started. Afterward, we exchanged business cards, and I said to myself, I'm going to do an 8 and 8 with Greg and see what happens. Here were my 8 contacts.
Okay, Carrie, go ahead and read these for us.
Week 1, I sent a personal note. Hi, Greg. Great to meet you. Welcome to Fort Collins. Hope to see you on the sidelines at a soccer game soon. Best regards, Larry. Week 2, I sent Greg a city map with all the new streets on it and a personal note. Greg, I thought you would like a new map for your new city. Again, welcome to Fort Collins. Hope to see you soon. All the best, Larry. On week 3, I sent a high altitude baking book written by my wife, Pat, who is a professor of nutrition at Colorado State University. With it, I sent a note that read, "Hi, Greg. I was just thinking of you and Suzanne. Thought you might be able to use this. Shows you how to bake at 5,000 feet. Welcome to Colorado, Larry."
Keep going.
Okay, week 4. This week, I sent Greg a newsletter from the group. Hi, Greg. I thought you might like a copy of our newsletter. It's full of information on the local real estate market. If you don't want to receive this, please let me know. All the best, Larry. Week 5, I sent a brochure on how property taxes work in Larimer County. Greg, I was just thinking of you and thought you would like to see how property taxes work here. You'll be getting a property tax notice soon. This brochure will explain it. Call me if you have any questions, Larry. Week 6, I sent Greg a summary of home sales in Village West for the past 12 months with a personal note. Hi, Greg. When you get your tax notice, if you want to protest your taxes, you'll need this information. Let me know if you need any help. All the best for you and your family, Larry. Week 7, when I got to week 7, I made a phone call. I'll never forget Greg's first response when I called him. My wife, Suzanne, wants to meet you. She wants to meet this guy who is sending us all this good stuff, I said. Oh, period. I said, well, I would like to meet Suzanne and the boys as well. In fact, the purpose of my call is to invite you to lunch. I felt we had a great connection at the chamber breakfast and I would like to get to know you better. Week 8, we went to lunch. We were sitting in Bassetti's Italian restaurant talking about his boys, soccer, and how his family is adjusting to life in a new town. Here's our conversation. Larry, how's business? Greg, we're really busy right now. We just bought a small company in Anaheim and need to move 47 people to Fort Collins.
Read that again.
We are really busy right now. We just bought a small company in Anaheim and need to move 47 people to Fort Collins. Do you need any help with that move? What do you mean help? Do you need maps, relocation kits, information on Fort Collins, job opportunities for spouses, and so on?
So stop right there.
Okay.
What did Larry, did Larry beg for business right then?
He attracted it
How did he attract it?
by giving Greg valuable info that helped him.
He's creating value. He's not begging. He's showing why he's the right man. Okay, go on.
What do you mean help? Do you need Oh, I said that. Greg says, I never even thought about that. I don't know where to begin. I'm brand new here. Larry, I can help you put all of that together. After a brief discussion of what we needed to gather for Greg, he asked a question. Larry, I know this is a lot to ask, but would you consider going with me to Anaheim and helping me do the in-plant presentation? I'll talk about their jobs and you can talk about the Fort Collins community. Together, I think we have a good chance of convincing them to make this move.
All right, Stephanie, go on from there.
43 or 47 eligible employees for the corporate move to choose to Fort Collins, and we helped them find housing. Later, we went to Greg to Buffalo, New York, and Chicago, Illinois, where they also had bought small companies and needed to move people to Fort Collins. And that first year Greg was in town, we moved more than 120 employees to Fort Collins, all because of 8 and 8. Near the end of that lunch at Bazzetti's, the Italian restaurant, I asked Greg how the house was working out. He talked about how the neighborhood was great, the boys had made friends, and the family loved it. I then said, Greg, I was thinking the other day and trying to remember who you bought your house from. Greg rolled his eyes, performed a mental search. It was a woman. We have no longer remembered her name at XYZ Realty. It was a woman, all right, but she worked at ABC Realty. Greg had forgotten her name and the wrong company.
Interestingly, the company he mentioned, XYZ, was the listing company, and he probably remembered their listing brochure and their sign in the front yard, which was probably in his garage, less than 4 months after buying his home and giving me a testimonial for his realtor. Greg couldn't remember her name or company. Like most realtors, she never followed up with him. Greg never followed up with Greg after closing or built a relationship with him. Now he is in flow with someone else. Greg and his family were just a transaction to her, and she has moved on to find another transaction. A national survey by Quality Service Certified found that only 18% of realtors follow up live, phone or face-to-face, after closing. A study conducted by Colorado State University College of Business for the Group Inc. Real Estate found that Larimer County, Colorado, more than 50% of buyers and sellers could not accurately identify their realtor's name and company 30 days after closing. Flow is the key to maintaining your relationship. Good grief. Only 18% follow up after closing. So here's how you use 8 and 8. Number 1, build a new relationship like Larry did. Use 8 and 8 to build a new relationship, just as I did with Greg. When I meet a key person who is in a position of leadership and influence, I always do an 8 and 8 with them. It really works. Number 2, rebrand yourself. If you are new in real estate, or if you have recently switched companies, your friends and customers are still thinking of you in your old profession or at your old company. You need to rebrand yourself at your new profession or your new company, and 8 in 8 will do just that. We recommend that all people who join our company do an 8 and 8 with their database. Number 3, rejuvenate a stale database. That's me. Are there people in your database whom you haven't talked with in years? Would you like to reconnect with them but feel it would be awkward to just call them up after all these years? Start them on an 8 and 8 first, then call them. Number 4, an annual refresher. Many of the top selling ninjas do an annual 8 and 8 with their database just to keep it fresh. And number 5, geographical farming. This is where I used to do my 8 and 8. Obviously, the 8 and 8 system was first perfected for geographical farming, which is working a neighborhood. As a ninja, we recommend you put your time and energy into people who know you versus strangers. The 8 and 8 is a good way to introduce your name to strangers in a geographical farm. However, to be the most effective, you need to actually meet the people in the farm face to face and start building a relationship. This is great for people who aren't from here and don't have a database, and they're breaking into the market in Northwest Arkansas. This is a great idea. After the initial burst of 8 and 8, put your new potential customers into the normal 3 per month auto flow program. Let's read this again. Go ahead, Carrie.
To set up and run an 8 and 8 program, simply create 6 flow items, a combination of art and science, to send once a week. Your 7th week will be a phone call, and your 8th week will be a face-to-face meeting, a lunch, breakfast, or coffee. If you're doing an 8 and 8 with a large database, stagger your mailings so you start about 5 new people each week. That way, on the 7th week, you only have to call 5 people, and on the 8th week, you only have to meet with 5. Can you imagine running through all 200 people in your database at the same time? Yikes. On week 8, you'd have to have 200 lunches.
All right. So fantastic, quick chapter in the Ninja Selling book. Thoughts? Jeff?
When we talked about the 8 and 8 in Las Vegas, I remember Terry saying, about using it if you're new to an area like I am, and picking where you want to work. So pick a neighborhood, Versailles, whatever it is, and do the 8 and 8 there, and then attract the business of where you want to work. And I just totally remember that making sense to me, and being more focused with how you do it. And then I also like the idea of being able to pick where you wanted to work.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that. Where do you want to work and why, Jeff? Do you know?
I like the Centerton, Bentonville area. For me personally, first of all, it's closer, and having to get the kids and go to all these, therapies and stuff that I have to go to. It's hard if I have to go show a house in West Fork, and I'll do it. But I mean, realistically, if I could plan it out perfectly, I'd rather stay closer to home and to the kids so I can be available, make the most use of the time, because you can waste a lot of time driving to Eureka Springs.
Yeah. And have you chosen your neighborhood?
I like the neighborhoods that are popping up in kind of near where I live, near Bentonville West, where it's a mix of established neighborhoods and then new construction.
Mm-hmm.
I like it because the people that seem to move to this area are kind of like me, with young kids, and they bought the house in this neighborhood, or they're looking in this neighborhood because the schools are right there. And it's really family focused, I think.
So you could easily relate to them and get a communicate with them easily and have things to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Let me talk to you about anybody else besides me have ideas on where and why for someone that doesn't have a sphere or database already.
So I don't know that mine is sort of the where and why, but I'm thinking about mine and almost separating them. So I've got a group of my database that I'm kind of bucketing in this idea of, there are people that I know have careers, they have an established home, but I think they're trying to create some investment and some alternative income for themselves. So I've got some where I'm looking at, here's where I'm going to drive you to look at investment property, and a lot of my geography there, regardless of where those people live, is focused on sort of near the university, near Dixon, things like that in Fayetteville, where you've got a lot more attraction of a steady group of people who want to have a location there. Separately, we do have sort of, with my connection to Bentonville, people moving into the area. That one is going to be a little broader net from a geography purpose, but selfishly, I'm trying to create some more investment here in West Fayetteville. You tend to have a lot of, there's a lot of people who want to buy sort of luxury homes or nicer homes, and they tend towards East Fayetteville. And you're creating a very significant sort of socioeconomic divide, disparity between East and West. So I'm trying to drive some people to look at some of these nicer neighborhoods in West Fayetteville, and maybe even convince some developers, some friends who are in that development area, to look at some of the property out here, with the idea that there might be a hook there. If I can convince a developer to invest in a large area here in West Fayetteville, then they're going to come back to me about, how do I get rid of some of these homes that I'm building out there?
Yeah. So sending out to people that you know that are looking to create wealth in real estate as investors. It sounds to me like you're 8 and 8. Your first 6 weeks are building recognition as a realtor. Then you do your phone call to say, man, I know I've been slamming your mailbox lately, and I just wanted to tell you that I value you and value our relationship, and it's not just real estate to me. I'd love to have coffee with you and just talk to you about what's going on in your life. Get a chance to sit down with them and show them how they can use the equity from their current real estate holdings with real estate reviews to invest and go from there. That's a fantastic idea, and it will work, Joe. If anything, and I want you guys to remember this, the reason for flow is not a transactional reason. It's a relational reason that results in, and I'm looking for a very specific word. It results in what?
Referrals.
Yes. And what tends to happen is somebody will go out and they'll do 10 real estate reviews, and they'll come back and they'll throw their shit on their desk and say, I'm sick of this. Nobody's buying anything. Nobody wanted to sell. Screw this. You've missed the point completely. You've missed the point completely. We cannot convince somebody to be ready to buy or sell. That's not who we are or what we do. That's not what any realtor does. We want their referrals because they know on average 4 families that are going to buy or sell in the next year. We want their referrals, and we want to be front of mind, and to be front of mind, we have to provide value. So any other thoughts on where to farm with your 8 and 8 and why? So here's my thought. What does how does Walmart decide their price point product? Anybody?
What's the cost? What's the demand? And then you understand what your competition is doing, and you look at the margin.
And do they want products that they're going to sell 2 of, or that they're going to sell 2 million of?
2 million.
Yeah. And when they sell that amount, what's their profit point? What's their ROI? What's their return on investment? It's very low, isn't it?
Typically.
Yeah. So they are wanting to serve as many people as possible. There's a saying that I have that I learned from a investment radio broadcast I used to listen to in my early 20s. And the saying is, the money is in the meter drop. Carrie, you've heard me say that, haven't you?
I think so.
So the money's in the meter drop is a saying from a taxi cab driver that turned millionaire through small investments. And his small investments really added up because they were all profitable. He chose things that were profitable and not the most profit and not the most expensive. Small things that could happen. So he would always make more money than anybody else in the taxi garage. And they would ask him why. And he said, man, I'm not looking for the long haul from downtown to the airport. I'm looking for the guy that needs to go 2 blocks, because every time I drop that meter, every time somebody gets in the car, I make $2.50. He said, I'm after the $2.50. And so he would take those short trips for $2.50 that lasted 5 minutes and pick somebody up and just go, go, go. We need to be thinking the same way if we're farming or doing old-fashioned prospecting. I don't want an old-fashioned prospect for a $2 million listing. It takes a long time to sell a $2 million listing. There aren't very many buyers. You want to be, if you're doing old-fashioned prospecting and farming, you want to be at the sweet spot. So what's our average sales price? Go where the clients are, serve as many people as possible. That way you build your database. So if our average sales price in Bentonville is probably around 270 right now, if your average sales price is 270, you want to be 270 and below in your farming. If you're doing old-fashioned farming with people you don't know, you want to be in those neighborhoods that attract quickly.
Plus, those people are less likely to already have a relationship with a realtor at that price point that, you know, their go-to.
Plus, those people talk more about how good you treat them than wealthy people. Wealthy people expect it. They believe you're there to kiss their ass. They just do. And people that are average and below average income, when you treat them wonderful, they talk about it. They just do. So that's a huge farming tip for you. Go where the money's at. Go where it sells. Go where it happens. So let's go back to the non-farming idea, and let's talk about how we do our 8 and 8 with our database, with the people that we know and love, that trust us and we're already in flow with or want to get back in flow with. How do we organize this? What do we choose to send? Where do we go from here? And how does Smith and Associates make it the easiest on you? Okay, ideas and thoughts. Okay, I'll share. Let's see here. Thought number one. Let me get to my, how about this? First names, last name, street address, city and zip. That's broken down correctly so Shelby can upload it. Phone number. You've got your week 1 card through week 6 card. Then you make your call and then you do your face-to-face. It's all organized. It's all there for you. As you do your 8 and 8, I've got it down to 200 here. So you can bust those out. I've got it color coded so you can keep up with which week you're on and make sense of that and go from there. Is that helpful to you?
Very.
Okay. What else do we need?
We need science and art.
We need science and art. You think Smith and Associates can help with that?
Yeah.
How about these? Expert knowledge and advice for buying or selling your home, assistance with both residential and investment properties, data-driven market valuation, free professional photos and videos with every listing, comprehensive marketing plan, clear path for the real estate transaction from start to close, and an annual real estate review to understand your investment. I've recently become a realtor in the Northwest Arkansas area. Does that help anybody?
Yes.
Could you share that what you just read or no?
Oh, you can't see it.
No.
Sorry, I'm fixing that. I was actually showing showing you something awesome. There you go.
Well, your face, but
Thank you, Carrie. How's that?
yes.
Is that professional enough for you?
That's awesome.
Yes.
How about this one? Winter's coming. Prepare your home now. Clean out gutters. Turn off drain and coil hoses. Have your HVAC unit inspected. Winterize your AC unit. Switch direction of fan blades. Check seal and caulk around windows and doors. Replace air filters. Check and replace batteries and smoke and carbon monoxide. That one's
So I saw an email come through with some of these. How do we get them?
they're in the drive, my friend, and all you need to do if you can't find them in the drive is reach out to Shelby, our marketing director, and she will take care of you or create something for you.
Awesome.
How's this for art?
Good.
Yeah? Sugar cookie recipe. Merry Christmas. You put your family on there. Get Shelby to mail out your Christmas cards for you. Yes, I said Shelby will do it for you. New year, new home. A new year can mean new adventures, and maybe for you, that's a new home. If you're thinking about buying or selling, blah, 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 blah. 5 tips for working at home. Doesn't have anything to do with real estate. Market update. We got stuff, guys. Virtual real estate reviews. We got stuff.
Awesome.
We got more than that. Valentine's, Thanksgiving. We got stuff. So, here's what I would remember. On that 8 and 8, I would remember how Larry started it. Larry said to set up and run an 8 and 8 program, create 6 flow items, combination of art and science. But the first one that he did, remember what that was? Anyone?
His
Personal note.
You're welcome.
personal note,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. If it's somebody that you know, that personal note gets you back in quickly. Then he said a city map. You may not be wanting to send a city map to somebody that's been here a while. That and most people don't use maps anymore anyway, so not really something there. Cookbook. Instead of that, send the sugar cookie recipe or something. What could people use here instead of a city map?
What about like a hiking trails map or something like that?
Yeah, or the bike trail system.
Or the bike trail, yeah.
Yeah,
Or upcoming Christmas related stuff.
there you go.
What to do.
Yeah, events.
What to do with your kids when they're home for 3 weeks
Oh God,
during a pandemic.
I'm so glad my children are older.
Me too.
Wow. Week 4, copy of our newsletter. We probably need to start making a newsletter at Smith and Associates like we said we would forever ago, huh? Yeah,
That'd be cool.
that'd be good. Brochure on property taxes. How's that for science and nerdy? Would that be something that, hey Joe, is that something you would look at and read over?
Yeah.
Not me. That's why we send a combination of art and science. Because when I look at something like that, I'm like, it doesn't matter what it says. I got to pay it anyway. But other people want that, and they'll read it and appreciate it. A summary of home sales in the neighborhood. Is that something that any of us would read? Absolutely. Then a phone call, and then lunch or coffee. So I wouldn't, even though we've got the material, I would be very careful about making it impersonal. You've got to do some personal work in that. Now let's talk about how else we can help you guys. Okay. what we can do and what we have done and what some people take advantage of and some people don't is we have with Shelby, she just sends postcards for us automatically. And so she's got your science and art postcards. She does 2 a month. And if she has your mailing list and your credit card, she creates an account for you in Quantum, which is our postcard service. And she uploads your credit card information for you in there, creates your account, and then twice a month sends that off for you. And it's a no-brainer. It's done. The issue with that is it does cost money. What you may want to do is you may want to create a mailing list of your #1 people that you know love you and will refer to you and that you want to remain front of mind with, and send 20 mail outs. If you send 20 mail outs a month, that's $20. I think anybody can afford $20, and if they can't, then you guys need to get a job. You need to go get a job somewhere, and get things figured out. So that can be done, and then you can add to that mailing list as you can afford it. The postcards are about 50 cents each, so week 1 is $10, and mail out 2 is $10. So I would advise you to get on that program after you do your 8 and 8 with those people. What I would advise as well is that week 1, I would advise you to go ahead and make that a personal note instead of a card. Regardless if you're already in flow with them or not, I would make that a personal note. I would include a business card or 2, and then I would move on to the cards for the next 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then this, I would make sure that that is a card that has market data on it for their area. And that could just be a card that has the 4 major cities, that has Fayetteville's highest, lowest, average, and median price per square foot, and then do the same for Springdale, Rogers, and Bentonville. You may be able to go ahead and fit other sub-cities on there. You know, Centerton is a very important city. Pea Ridge is becoming more important. Let's see.
Cave Springs to some degree.
Cave Springs is getting very important on their own.
Bella Vista.
Bella Vista, yeah. So, you know, you may want all of that provided. If you do, I think we should probably recreate that card. And that's pretty easy for me to do, and have Shelby do that. So we could do market update Northwest Arkansas, and it can just have the averages on there. And then on the back, we can have a breakdown of every city. That's awfully good information and very easy to provide. So that may give you something to talk about in your meeting or your phone call after that. Jeff, thoughts?
I like it.
What's your favorite thing we went over?
My favorite thing, well, I just like how easy it is, I guess. And it's all in the drive.
It's all in the drive, baby. It's all in the drive. Carrie?
Well, I have been waiting for the 8 and 8 for a while, and I'm glad to put the chapter up there because I've got my book here on my desk and I could reread that. But I needed a refresher, And like I said, I've been looking forward to it for a while, talking about it in our meetings. So I am excited to get on a plan.
Page 114, Terry.
Page what?
114.
114. Yeah, I found it. I've been rereading it while we're talking.
Good. Awesome. Joe?
I love this. This is what I've been waiting on. I think we talked about building out the database, and then it was, okay, the thing I need to know now is what do I do with it? So this was very helpful, and I'm looking through some of the content now that I can get with Shelby on, because there's quite a few of these things that, especially I'm new, so I've got, it's easier for me to say, okay, the one that I can do for just about everybody in my database is, hey, guess what? I'm in this now.
Yeah.
So makes that a little bit easier, but love to see the content.
Good. We've got 3 agents on here today. That's a little sad. I know some of the agents have sent me messages saying they couldn't be here and to record it, so that's great. Out of the 3 that are here, are you going to do the 8 and 8, and when are you going to start?
Today.
So
you're going to put.
I'll get on it quickly. I'm still fleshing out all of my database, doing all the address finding for everybody.
So how hard is it to put 5 the first down and go ahead and start on the first 5 though? See, the thing is if we spend all of our time preparing, we never do. And what I would like to encourage you is today, put your first 5 in on the 8 and 8 worksheet, write them a note, throw a couple business cards in it, put a stamp on it, and put it in the mailbox. It's how I talk to my kids. I'm not talking down to you guys. I promise. I know you're intelligent beings. I'm just simplifying this process. 5 people, 5 households. Write it down. Write them a note. Put them in the first 5. Write them a note. Look up their address if you have to. If you don't have their phone number, that's okay. You can get it later after you've sent them some stuff. Put the first 5 down or it's not going to happen. Put the first 5 down, get it started. Personal note, put it in an envelope, throw a couple cards in, put a stamp on it, address it, put it in the mailbox, send it. You'll feel great. You'll feel like you've done your job today and you'll move forward. And then next week you'll say, damn, I don't want to lose that momentum. Now, don't wait until next week to say, hey, Shelby, can I get set up with you to send these people a card? Don't do that. Tomorrow, your job is to get with Shelby. Just send her a text and say, hey, I'm doing the 8 and 8. Out of those, here's the postcard I'd like to use. Joe just joined. Jeff, sugar cookies. I don't care. Send them something. But hey, here's my first 5. I want to get set up. Let's roll. Now, by the time you're at 200, your whole database is in there. And Shelby's got your whole database rolling. Just set them each on the 2 a month program and you're done. You're done. It's beautiful. Does that make sense? As you go through your 8 and 8, change the highlights from blue and yellow to gray, an alternating gray and white, so you know it's finished. And tell Shelby, when these go to an alternating gray and white, please put them on a 2 a month program. And she's got you back, and you're done. How's that sound?
Great.
Then you change that. You've got your whole database in there at that point. You change that and take off those check marks and have 2 Ford calls and 1 real estate review on there and 1 face-to-face. And then every year you're managing your database and going through it. You're getting the auto flow sent from Shelby, and you're solid. Questions? Are we putting your database to work today?
On the automated stuff, just so I know, does she sort of mix it up on days of the week so it doesn't feel, back to the point of, it doesn't feel like I'm just on some automated thing every Tuesday I get something from Joe? But
So the 8 and 8 is probably going to be like pretty regular. So they're going to get those first things pretty regular.
okay.
The auto flow, she does one the first week, she does one the third week, and we need to get that newsletter rolling and get that out there so they're getting 3. It will be regular. It will be regular times. The point, again, guys, of sending them something is not for them to look at and say, man, I love what you sent me. It's so nice. The point of that is to get a 10-second trip from the mailbox to the trash can and get them to see your face in real estate. That's the point. Don't get your feelings hurt. None of that matters. None of it matters. I bet I can send out on the regular a postcard that says poo poo caca, Jason Smith, Realtor, and it would do better than 90% of the agents in Northwest Arkansas because they're not sending anything. That study showing that the agent that did not exist is now the agent of choice in that neighborhood after 8 mailouts. Come on. Poo poo caca would work. It would. Just ask Walmart. They've got plenty poo poo caca going out. They do. So the whole point is send it. Send it, send it, send it. Have value. Do not send it and then not talk to people. If you send that and don't talk to people, you're flushing your money down the toilet. Cool? Okay. Poo poo caca, Jeff.
I was muted. Yes, it's cool.
All right. So today, do your 5. Okay. 5 handwritten notes today. Send them out. You can check off more than 5 on your Ninja Flow on your cards and do less for the rest of the week if you want to. I don't care. Just do it and check them off. Okay. Who's in?
I'm in.
Good. All right. Stephanie, I didn't ask you your favorite part. What's your favorite part?
I like how easy it is. You really have like set it up for them. Like it's all just in the drive there, like pretty straight to the point. I like it.
Yeah. Good.
Jason, I don't know where I read this or heard this. Maybe it's something that we talked about, but it was like a saying of start it today. In a year, you'll be happy that you did, instead of putting things off. I don't know if that was from Terry Johnson or what, but that kind of keeps popping in my brain of just start something. And in a year, you'll be happy that you did start it today.
Jeff, do you remember when she talked about the lady that said it's easier to make $2 million or to make $1 million in this business than 200 on purpose than 200,000 on accident?
Yeah.
This is the start of that.
Yeah.
Also, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is today. Yeah. It falls in line with what you were saying. Awesome. Well, hey, I love you guys. Thank you for committing to this. And make just double click, a 2-finger click on that, or right click on that 8 and 8 spreadsheet, and make a copy of it, move it to your file, and get busy.
Thanks, Jason.
Hey, thank you guys. Talk to you later.
Bye.
See ya.